Welcome to the Ginto Show. My name is Car Ginto, and this podcast is of excellent and expert analyses of various pop culture and societal topics with interviews and opinions. Hello, guys. My name is Car Ginto. Yet again, I said that. I don't know why. I'm back here with another podcast. Haven't done one in a while. As you can see, my last one was February 17th with my guy Louis Monet. I took a break just because this whole quarantine shit, usually in the month of March, I do podcasts about brackets because of March Madness. But with everything that's happening with COVID-19, the coronavirus, aka the Rona, it's just very, very difficult to gather people and coordinate and not have any delays or technical issues. So just took a break for a month because there's a lot of craziness going on around the world, a lot of uncertainty. Most people are at home doing their own thing. As you can see, like on social media, there's a whole bunch of Instagram Lives. There's a lot of podcasts. There's all the streaming sites or services are just overwhelmed right now. And, just coordinating my own stuff to get people on the podcast. Just didn't want to deal with it. But now I'm back. It's a new month. Seems like everything with COVID-19 is just getting worse and worse. Might as well just do a show about it, Might as well talk about everything that happened, what I have noticed, what just how everything that went down with the government, what other countries are doing, what people are doing, just all of that. I'll just go into like my thoughts about COVID-19 and what happened. There should be someone joining. It's no secret. It's probably Jericho. Yeah, fuck that guy. No, I'm just kidding. Love him. But actually, don't love him. Don't. But, he's a good guy overall. But yeah, let's get into what has been going on with COVID-19. I've been following COVID-19 since late December. I came across it just randomly. Just on YouTube, just looking at random videos, and you see some new stuff going on. And I noticed this guy named Steve Lookner. He runs a YouTube channel called Agenda Free TV, and just saw that there's a new virus coming out of China. I'm like, oh shoot! I just clicked on it, and I was watching, and then it was very mild. There was like few cases of the virus. They didn't even call it coronavirus. They called it just a China virus, right? And eventually they called it COV-16 and COV-16. Just another form of SARS or MERS. And then eventually they changed it to what we now call it as COVID-19, which is short for Coronavirus Disease 2019 when it just started. As a conspiracy theorist myself, the initial origin of the disease, this is probably official now, but it started from the Wuhan market. Wuhan market is a wet market, which I can delve into more. It's just a market of random animals that are on sale for breeding or feeding, and it's just like a flea market for animals. These animals are basically stacked on top of each other, sold for either food or pets or breeding, and it's super dirty because super dirty and dangerous. But uh, in places like China, where there's billions of people and not everybody has the means or the resources to grow vegetables or eat well pampered steaks, wagyu beef, or chicken. Um, People have to resort to eating stuff like bats or these little critters or fucking penguins. Yeah, these markets will hold like snakes, crocodiles, all that shit. All basically animals that you won't be caught. You would be like, you won't find people eating here in Canada, basically. Um, but yeah, apparently this started from someone eating a bat and then getting sick from it. Obviously, not eating a bat. They could be eating a bat or something that was bitten by a bat. Could have been transmitted uh, by those means. But um, yeah, it just reminded me of the movie Contagion, where at the end of the movie, you see a bat that has eaten something, contaminated it, and then a pig ate it, and then someone ate the pig, and then boom, boom, transfer everywhere. Door handles, coughing, sneezing. Very similar to what we're going on right now. Obviously, in movies, is they like to upscale the scope and the seriousness, like the accelerated, basically. Um, right now, there's about 50,000 deaths in the world, and yeah, where did I start off from? But yeah, let's see. Yeah, and the other conspiracy is that um, China did this on purpose in order to gain leverage or advantage in some sort of stock market or money market, or stop the global economy from, like especially in North America, to prosper. And because China is so close to being the most powerful country right now, well, previous to this disease, and unleashing basically a virus upon the world would cause them to flourish, obviously. And in some cases, they are flourishing because most of their cases have recovered from COVID-19, while here in North America and in Canada, it keeps just getting worse and worse. So I do see in a conspiracy lens that could be uh, true in a sense, but when people are dying, I don't really agree to these conspiracies, but I've heard these ones before. Um, Another one is that most diseases come out during the election years for USA, and somehow this could help um, powerful leaders such as Trump or other world leaders gain leverage in the people's eyes, the general public's eyes, and they could win their next election. Uh, that's one conspiracy. Yeah, and then ever since I discovered this in December, it just kept getting worse, worse, and worse, until last March, specifically the second week of March, where when all hell broke loose. Um, for myself, when I discovered or knew that it was serious was when NBA games were canceled. Um, Basically, March 18th, I believe, was the first game to be canceled. Was the Kings Pelicans, I believe. OKC and I believe the Rockets were the first game, and then Pelicans and the Kings were canceled, and then by the end of the week, the whole season had been canceled. There were talks of games just having no fans in their arenas. But then, since all arenas are basically paid through games, through fans, through vendors, through buying merch, food, they cancel that because they're not going to be making money. NBA players will be getting money, but not people who work for the teams necessarily. People who work for the stadiums or arenas, they won't necessarily be guaranteed a salary or pay. So yeah, they suspended the season, and then other leagues joined in. Soccer, obviously, NHL, basically all sports decided to close that week. March 16th was a huge part of my life that changed. Basically, they closed all the gyms, especially Good Life, the gym I attend to. They closed that, and then they closed theaters. The second most significant space that I care of are movie theaters, because I believe watching movies need to be at theaters. They need to be in public around other people. So that's when I knew that this was serious, and then I put my thinking cap and my lens that when stuff like this happens, it doesn't get better soon. It gets worse throughout time, and when it will stop, no one knows. There's constantly new updates every day, every hour, and there's a lot of uncertainty when it comes to that. And with all these things closing down, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people are working from home, just so they could, avoid being in spaces with other people and having them contaminated as well. Which I completely understand, because when SARS came out, when MERS came out, the best way to defeat the virus is actually not a vaccine, because we know all vaccines take a while. They take maybe months or even a year to perfect in order for it to be publicly accessed. But the best thing right now is to isolate each case, treat each case, and basically that's how it would stop the spread, by having it not be out in the public. And Canada, Italy, USA, and basically the entire world are putting efforts into having that initiated or processed, or whatever word I'm trying to look for. But yeah, basically, you have to stay home and not interact with anybody. That has caused a lot of fear, obviously, a lot of anxiety. Profit has been lost, because by initiating the stay-at-home initiative, you basically can't build relationships. You can't see customers. You can't grow business. You have to lose income because of this virus. And it's affected a lot of people, affected my family, affected me. I'm considered essential workforce according to the government, and I've been going to work every day. I've been going out in public, while my office is secluded from the public, and only a few number of individuals who also work in the office are allowed to be in this space. It still has affected me because, and, if you've been following me, I like to go out. Sometimes I like to see people. I like to, invite people to come over. So yeah, that has greatly affected some of my lifestyle. People that I know are staying home and not being able to work. At least for the people I know, they still get paid, which is good for the companies or organizations they work for. But it's very difficult for people to stay home. And like with my job, I'm able to work at home. I'm able to work basically anywhere in the world, but I can't visit those places as travel has been limited. Even if you travel over Canadian borders, you have to isolate yourself at home, self isolation for 14 days, as the symptoms don't appear after 14 days, which I get the logic. Um, so, yeah, I'm not able to go to Toronto, finish my tattoo, not able to travel to Canada, see my family, even see my family in Winnipeg is very tough as everyone is weary or anxious of getting the virus, right? So, not being able to see different people every day is kind of uh, a nuisance, but like I said before, it has to be done in order to stop this virus from happening. And yeah, some of my other major losses that, you know, like I said, sports has been suspended. NBA would be having their playoffs this month, and not having that around. Basically, my entire life, I had that in April. Uh, it's all gone, and there was plans of my family and I going down to Minneapolis if the Timberwolves made it to watch a playoff game, and that's not possible. Wrestling, which is a big part of my life, as you all may know, they're still continuing, but there's no audience. And watching empty arena shows with just wrestlers and referees and then the camera people is just a little odd. It's still entertaining in the most part, but as a wrestling fan, is just so much different than having an audience there. Um, Lucky enough, we had like 2 weeks before this whole quarantine and lockdown situation. We watched Raw at the Bell MTS Center, and it was an amazing time. One of the best experiences I had. Um, and we got lucky because 2 weeks later, this whole self-isolating quarantine lockdown mode happened. Um, so yeah, I was one of the lucky few to see wrestling this year, basically. Um, yeah, and this weekend is WrestleMania, with one of the biggest shows in wrestling history every year. Um, Usually 70 to 80,000 people come and watch that show, but now it's being taped, no audience. It should be interesting. Obviously, I'll be watching it on Saturday and Sunday, but it won't have an audience, which is a little weird and odd, obviously, as we all have to get used to dealing with this kind of stuff for the time being. Yeah, like I mentioned before, um, the gyms are closed, and as a fitness, I wouldn't say I'm a nerd. I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I just kind of care for it in terms of aesthetically and mentally, as I believe it helps me with that both. I mentioned this before that I think fitness um, helps is probably the only thing throughout my day that I have complete control over, in terms of structure, in terms of time. No one bosses me around. I'm not obligated to do it. it's basically stress free for going to the gym or working out. So yeah, with the gyms closing down, I had to buy new equipment. Um, my equipment uh, consists of a skipping rope for cardio, uh, resistant bands for obviously resistance workouts, um, kettlebells for weight lifting. Um, you can use the kettlebell for basically all the workouts you can do. Functional workouts, obviously. Uh, yeah, my brother went to Winners when it was open and bought a kit with a ab roller, skipping rope, push up, whatever apparatus, I don't know what's called, uh, yoga mat. Um, yeah, so we bought all that. I bought like two heavy dumbbells, not dumbbells, kettlebells at Fitness Experience before it closed down. I believe it's closed down right now. It was a really interesting experience. I had to wait outside as only two people were allowed in the store, um, and most of the equipment was gone before I left. There was no 30 or 20 pound anything um, in terms of dumbbells or kettlebells. So I resorted to doing 40 and 50s, 50 pounds. I mean, I obviously I can lift heavy weights. I'm a pretty thick guy, so those weights don't bother me so much. Having 20s and 30s just to do um, more reps would be great, but you got to deal with what you can buy and what you can get. Uh, I still do my morning workouts. I wake up at 5 a.m., um, 5 to 6 a.m., depending on the day. Usually it's 5:15, 5:30 when I start working out. I still do my quotes. I want to keep everything as consistent as I did prior to the situation. I still go to work, come home, and I do the same thing just so I can have that in my mindset as a routine and that nothing has changed, though things obviously have. Uh, yeah, I bought a lot of games. I do a lot of streaming. If you follow that, I'm on Twitch and on YouTube. You can watch me play video games. I do a lot of swearing and yelling, especially in Tekken. Um, if you guys watch, if you guys heard of OnlyFans.com, I've subscribed to a lot of people in that one. Uh, it's really interesting. It's kind of a weird mentality. Basically, OnlyFans is if you no one has heard it, if no one has heard about OnlyFans, it's basically just like any type of social media. You follow, you subscribe, you get content, but the difference is there is no limit. Um, you could do porn on there. You could throw up nudes, um, and you can get paid for it, like straight up, like 80%, I believe, it's the highest. And some people make like hundreds of thousands of dollars on that thing. I've subscribed to a couple girls, obviously, um, that I've come across on social media, and just for some reason, I just so like just the thought of seeing more than what they put out on like Instagram or Snapchat was super interesting. And when you pay for it, uh, you get what you pay for. Some cases you buy extra. Um, these are like nudes, like they're completely naked, they're dancing naked. I don't know. Some cases people are like having sex or sucking dick. uh, yeah, it's really interesting. Um, with full disclosure and honesty, I kind of want to get on that. Hopefully, like I won't have to resort to it, but I'm thinking about it. It's like if I'm super jacked, uh, I could just put myself on there and get paid for it. That's extra income. Um, but yeah, just a thought. I haven't obviously I'm registered, but I haven't like put stuff out there in order to get paid. But whatever, this has happened. All you can since this whole thing, you basically can't hang out with anybody. Everyone's a little scared and anxious. You have to resort to things like porn and OnlyFans. But yeah, my the first weekend when this all went down, all the closures, Everybody resorted to Netflix. Everybody resorted to streaming service, Disney Plus, Hulu, watching stuff on YouTube or whatever. The first series I watched, I was very reluctant to watch. It's called You, um, starring Penn Badgley from Gossip Girl. Um, my reluctance is that, like, everybody's watching that show. Everybody's talking about that show when it came out. I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to be that guy that just watches the same shit that everybody else watches. Um, then I caved in, started watching it, and then it ended up being fucking amazing. Um, like, it's just totally creepy dude. Joe Goldberg, his name. So like the first episode, he's like just checking out this girl and just doing everything he can to find something about her. In all honesty, I think everyone does that on social media. They go through Google, they do through every social media to find everything they can know about a person. I know if I've done that before. I know of people doing that before. So like this creepiness, it's not crazy. I think it's the norm. Like a lot of people do that. People who don't say they don't do that are liars. They're fucking liars. But yeah, I personally I wouldn't go the same lengths as Joe has in being that creepy, but he's an interesting dude. Um, yeah, my thoughts about the season. The first season is just like Guinevere and Joe. I love them together in the first season. All that shit that goes down, and by the end, it just all falls apart. Uh, just kind of messed up. I'm not a huge fan of Shay Mitchell, so having her in this show, just like she's one of the parts that I didn't like. I just don't think she's a good actress, to be honest. I think she's very, very. I'm trying too hard to act, and not that I am acting. Uh, and I get that people think she's hot, people think she's beautiful, people think she's talented. Obviously, she gets roles, but I don't feel that way. I think it's just yeah, Joe and Guinevere carry the season, and I love their chemistry. Uh, my brother and I argue about this, but I think overall Joe's a good guy. I might get heat from this, but I think he's a good guy. I think he just does crazy shit, like killing people. Um, uh, but I think he does care about the people he does love, and he'll protect them no matter what. Um, but yeah, it's just like I love the first season. Following season, you see the introduction of Love Quinn. Um, you see Joe has to move to um, California in order to get away from Candace, his ex girlfriend from the first season that showed up at the end of the first season. Um, yeah, so he moves there. He meets Love Quinn, meets her brother 40, meets Ellie and Delilah at the apartment that she runs and lives in. Um, I love the chemistry between this entire cast. Uh, I think Love and Joe are like one of the best couples um, going right now. I think Love is the type of crazy that every guy thinks their girl is, but that, but it's so like attractive that her craziness. It's so like I would want that, even though she's so crazy. But yeah, I just love Love. She's like so awesome. She's my favorite. I guess girlfriend that Joe has ever had. Better than Guinevere. Better than Candace. Better than that other chick from the first season. I think Love is the best. I think just because the actress Victoria Pedretti, she's from House on Haunting Hill, and like I loved her in that show. She was in that show enough She should be in this show more, like you. Obviously, Crystalia's in this season. He's so fucking funny. Uh, just seeing him, his face and his mannerisms just makes me laugh because he's such funny guy in his comedy world. Obviously, I think like again, I just think Joe's a good guy, but he just kills people. That's just the worst part about him. He has to protect his life, his girl. I mean, I don't know. It's just awesome. I love this show. Like obviously there was hesitation, like I said, but I just end up loving this show. Um, don't know what's gonna happen in the next season. What I think in my prediction, spoiler, the last episode, that the girl sitting uh, on the chair, the neighbor of Joe and Love, that could be his mom or sister. Who knows? But that's what I think. It's a family affair, and he's just creeping on his mom. Who knows? That's my prediction. Next thing I watched, I think everybody fucking watched Tiger King. Oh my god, what a show! Again, I was reluctant to watching this because my brother told me to watch it, so started watching it together. Basically, I mean, I think everybody's watched this show, but it's basically about the big cat um, trade in America. There's characters such as Joe Exotic, the main character. Carol Baskin is basically his arch enemy, and you got Doc Antle as another character, and several other players in this show. After the first episode, just fucking amazing. Like all this shit goes down. Joe's just this gay hillbilly redneck mullet having old ass dude that runs a big cat or zoo, and he has beef with this girl named Carol Baskins, which she has the same zoo basically, but she coats it as um, a rescue zoo, but basically they do the same thing. Like she doesn't parade the tigers as much as Joe does, but she's doing the same thing. They're exploiting animals. Believe it or not, I'm a big I'm not an animal lover per se, but I just hate seeing animals in cages. I don't like zoos. I don't like aquariums. I think all animals should be out in nature. They should be like guided and stayed in nature, not necessarily caged. So seeing these tigers and other animals locked up in zoos is kind of why I was reluctant to watch this. Um, but yeah, the whole drama between Joe and Carol is that she's going after Joe for mistreating animals, even though I believe she's kind of doing the same thing. Doc Antle is another zoo owner that basically runs a cult. He has like four wives, and he like teaches and mentors these women into working and having sex with him. Is so awesome and entertaining, and it's kind of fucked up. It's a cult basically. Like these women all marry him. They all live on the park. They all work for him. It's so crazy, and which like I don't know. He's like other than Joe, obviously, he's the most interesting character out of the entire series. Joe has like two husbands that aren't gay. It's so awesome. It's so fucked up and awesome. Um, Another drama is Carol has an ex-husband that people believe she fed to one of his tigers, um, her tigers, and that's the ongoing investigation. I think it opened up because of this show. But yeah, you have to watch it to believe it. It's like it hit the cultural zeitgeist like no other show has, and it's amazing. It's just so good. Take your time to watch it. I know most people aren't locked down. They're essential workers and have time to watch this, so watch Tiger King. It's an amazing show. I truly believe it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. And if you know me, I watch documentaries all the time. Um, yeah, it's the most entertaining, like everything you want in like a TV show, but this is like real life. I seen Andrew Schultz and Akash Singh describe it as Game of Thrones for rednecks and white people, and it is exactly that. It's the battle of the king and queens of the big cat or tiger world. Um, I'm not doing justice to the show, but it's amazing. Go watch that. Another aspect that really changed is like on weekends, my brother and I would contact our family and just start like FaceTiming them. We downloaded an app called House Party where you can have a bunch of people get together and cam from their locations and play games or drink. In our case, we just started drinking with our family. We just talk. We play drinking games. It's really a good time because usually we save that when we see each other, like once, twice, or three times a year. But yeah, every weekend you can do that now. I think the upside to this whole situation is that you can come together at any point, any time of the day, and just talk to somebody. I think a lot of communication has increased due to this because we're not bound to having to see or be in the presence of somebody. You can see this on social media. You can see that most people are doing interviews, they're just talking, they're doing podcasts, they're making content and videos through social media because of this. Because you're not bound by seeing people in person. You could yeah, talk to them anytime you can, and that's basically the whole point of social media is that you had that. But now that's the only thing you can do. People have been utilizing it. You can see celebrities like um, Drake joined Tory Lanez on a IG Live, and they broke the record. They have 300,000 people watching them do random shit. You can see every time, like every day, a bunch of your feed is just IG lives of people coming together and um, talking and stuff. Yeah, that's the upside of that. Another thing is that people in school obviously can't attend school; they can't learn in person, which kind of feel bad for as someone who graduated basically almost exactly last year. Um, People who are supposed to graduate this year, they can't go to their grad ceremony, they can't go to the grad dinners, and I feel for them because the grad dinner and the grad ceremony were probably one of the most important and most sacred times in my entire life. Just the accomplishments, just like everybody's just glad that they finished this feat that a lot of people don't have a chance to do, and I had a chance with that last year with the grad dinner and the grad ceremony, and people this year who can't attend those, I really feel for, obviously, because like I said, one of the best times of my life, just they can't have that. Um, yeah, but eventually, when this whole thing dies down, maybe they can. Maybe time won't allow them to do that, but we'll see. Um, yeah, I'll get into this. I don't think um, this will end anytime soon. There has been 40 cases here in Manitoba since yesterday, and it just keeps getting worse. Just everything is when a majority of things are considered essential. Um, that basically means uh, a lot of people are out and about. They're still around people. They're still around others. the potential and growth of the virus is high still, very high. Um, my thoughts is that a complete 2 to 3 week lockdown, even if you're essential, is the best way to stop this virus from spreading. Um, Italy did that. I think Spain did that. China did that, obviously, and China's back to normal base right now. Italy's still battling. Spain's still battling. Um, well, China's not back to normal. There's still restrictions, but their cases are dying down. A lot of people are recovered, and just having to do that in North America, I think that's the best way to do that. If you saw the essential business list that was put out um, to the world in Canada, and in Canada, you just see like everything's basically open other than salons, barbershops, gyms, malls, um, clothing stores. Uh, what am I missing? Even airports are still running. Like non-essential businesses aren't as much. Uh, there's not as much businesses that are non-essential. Um, yeah, just and the spread just keeps getting bigger and bigger because I mean I get it, it's capitalism, but people have to make money. But like this is not going to end until those places are shut down. I know for me, like I'm essential business, but I'm thinking about the overall world. Basically, you have to isolate this everybody who has it, and by having things still widely accessible, even with reduced time, that just means it gets busier during peak times. It's just wrong, and I think it should be shut down for 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, the world will recover financially with a 2 to 3 week um, shutdown. Um, we're losing money still. We're not gaining any money. Um, Basically, Canada needs to fund a lot of people with EI and the benefits program and whatever program they're going to make next. Is just that, I don't know, like cut your losses right now, shut it down, and then let everything die down. Have cases uh, be recovered, actually have a positive coming um, in terms of people recovering, and then you could open shit up again, like slowly. Um, I don't know. The reluctance is just mind boggling to me. Uh, but yeah, what I miss obviously out this whole situation is that not being able to go to the gym, obviously. I do that every morning as I wake up. Not being able to go out on the weekends. Like I like the bar. I like seeing other people, other than my coworkers here. I miss traveling to see family. I miss traveling to see other places. As you well know, I got a tattoo in Toronto, like basically right before the outbreak or pandemic started. So I can't finish that as my tattoo place closed down in Toronto. Um, I miss going out and just um, yeah, just seeing other people. Just it takes toll on you. That's why I can't work at home. I just like you're just I don't like feeling isolated, secluded, locked up, and doing those things like going to work here helps me not feel that way. Most people they thrive on the situation. They thrive on not being around people. Um, I don't know if that's true. I've been told that before, but I think at the end, people want connection. People need connection, and um, if you find that it's good enough to do it over social media or cam, works for you, then that's great. I mean, I don't think it's a plus. Like I said before, you can cam and stuff, but it's not the same thing. I think you need to be around different energy. And I think Einstein said this: energy is not uh, created or destroyed; it's just passed along. What is that? Let me Google this. Energy is not created nor destroyed. First law. Um, Energy states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Energy can only be transferred or changed from one form to another. I think that's what happens with people. I think you need to have that energy um, flow through individuals, through a group, and obviously during a situation you can't do that. I don't think it's ever be the same. Um, yeah, um, yeah. I just miss like fucking hooking up and just calling someone up to for a booty call. People are just reluctant because there's. I mean, I get it. Everyone's fearful of this virus, uh, but just not being able to even do that um, on a consistent basis is kind of rough. Yeah, when will I think this will end? I don't think we'll. I think I've said this before. Maybe I don't think it'll end anytime soon. And when it does, it's not going to be the same as it was previously. I believe there will be restrictions in terms of access to all spaces, all services. I think there will always be a limit. Um, I think beaches, parks will also have that limit. Basically, I'm saying all things will have limits to it in terms of access. We will not have um, hundreds of people at a grocery store anymore on the weekends. At Costco, you won't be having thousands, hundreds of people at Costco at a time. Um, you won't be at a. You'll never be at a beach with thousands of people on the beach anymore. Um, I think gyms, if they're smart, they will have scheduled gym times. They'll have times where you're allowed to um, have people there. You will have, I believe, if I'm really thinking, it's 30 people at a time at a gym if this all passes. And then next schedule, so you'll basically have a time limit at the gym. I think max is three, and then you could um, have people enter. There'll be a schedule for gyms, especially. Um, for sports, I'm not sure. Those 20,000 arenas and stadiums will have to reduce. Um, I think maybe at half, 10,000 to 5,000 at most. Yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just not confident it will end soon. And I know it will be even further. The Olympics has been canceled for another year. That's pretty rough, as it's one of the most exciting times every 4 years, especially if it's Summer Olympics. Just to see athletes and your favorite athletes all in one place vying for basically being the best in the world at something definitively uh, at the biggest stage. Those are one of my favorite events in terms of sports. Um, yeah, those are my thoughts on COVID-19. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Um, yeah, I think my other thoughts on society and what people are doing anyway is just people aren't as real, I believe, as they want other people to think they are. You saw this at the beginning of the situation where toilet paper is sold out, a lot of products have been sold out, hand sanitizer, all the safety precaution things have been sold out. Um, People aren't as charitable. I think that's because, I think people really showed their true nature when this started. They don't really care about others. That's what I think. And people who've been are still out and about and hanging around 20 plus people, hanging around a big crowd. It's like these are the same people that flaunt like initiatives, like helping others, but really they're all bottom line. They all really care about themselves. I'm not saying everybody's like that, but I think a lot of people really showed what they are at this time. They don't really care about others. Like people who mark up toilet paper and sell it, or mark up cleaning products and sell it. It's just that, like, I know it's supply and demand, but like, dude, like this is literally life or death situations, and you're not giving people access to that. Like, you're fucked in the head, dude. Um, I don't know. It's like, and people who like flaunt on Instagram or social media about their workouts, about their partying, about their going out. Um, like they don't really do that anymore. You know why? Because they're not around exciting things to show off. Like you're not about that life. Truly, you just want to be known. You just want to show off. Like I said, especially in the gym community or the fitness community, like you're either working out for show or you're working out for yourself. And um, people who aren't working out or stop, like this is the perfect opportunity for you to get into that. Like body weights body weight works, limited equipment works. Trust me, like I've seen a lot of changes since this all went down. I think I lost a lot of weight, um, but then I still look fucking jacked still, obviously, because I'm dedicated. I'm about that life. I'm about like working hard and working out, and just people who don't do that anymore. Like you're really just there to show off, and it's not really about what you're trying to do. You're not trying to help people get better. You just want to make your dollar. You want to be famous for that, all that jazz. Just a lot of fake people came out. What I believe. Um, Take that as you guys want, but yeah, that's what I think. Just a lot of fake people have been exposed in this whole thing. Um, just like you're not able to show off now, and so what do you have? Nothing. At least like I'm consistent. I still drink. I still post the same shit because I'm really about that life. I'm about being who I am. I'm about being real. If people don't think that, you're wrong because I'm still doing the same thing I did before. I just play more video games now. That's about it. But yeah, I'm almost going an hour. People can still join in. I sent out the link. I'll give about like another, I don't know, minute. Uh, what else has been going on? Yeah, I think people want to get an update on my love life. Not much happening there, obviously. I'm really active on the dating apps, Bumble in particular. Met this nice girl. She's kind of cool. Of course, she's fucking artsy. She draws, and she's an artist, I think. She does sketches, which is dope, you know. And she's cool. I haven't talked to her in a bit though, because like people are reluctant to see each other right now in person. So we'll see. Maybe I'll hit her up this weekend. Um, I don't know. What else? Yeah, subscribe to my Twitch. Talk about gaming. Subscribe to my YouTube. I have workout videos there. Um, like really, they're thorough. Like I go through each body part. Or yeah, you can see me uh, just doing that. Um, it's very informative, I think, of what you can do um, with very limited equipment. I think people underestimate just basic body weight, like squats, push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. You have very little, maybe under $200. You can have all this equipment and have an adequate, um, even more adequate workout experience. Yeah, like I said previously, you could. This is the best time to do everything you quote unquote didn't have time for before. Um, start writing, start drawing, start a podcast, start a YouTube, um, start doing, start writing poems, start writing a book if you want. Even start a new business. Like you can plan that out. You can even get that started right now. Doesn't take a lot. Like doesn't take a lot of capital to start an online service. You know. Um, yeah, but those people who aren't doing shit, just playing video games, not even streaming, not even I don't know, not even getting yourself out there. You're wasting it, man. You're wasting it. You just like the comfortability of your old job and want it back, I think. And you're not doing anything to improve. So yeah, if you're like wasting your time and not learning something new, not reading, like and all the other jazz I said before this, like I said, you're one of those people who I think are fake. Um, but yeah, those are my thoughts. Um, Jericho was supposed to join in on this, but you know it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Just tune in into this podcast. Listen to my other episodes. Actually, I want to bring this up. She may not be listening. I'm not sure. But yeah, like March 23rd was the day I met, as you well know, Taylor Webb on in real life. We've been friends before um, for like a year before we actually met in real life. And March 23rd was like the first podcast we did. And then all the subsequent podcasts just kept getting better and better. And we had this entire drama going down if I like her, she likes me, if we're going to be together, if we're not. But at the end, we just ended up happening, which is okay because like I think we both fucked up in that situation, and then of course we can argue on who fucked up more, but like I'm not gonna get into that. But yeah, like I hope she moved on. I'm not sure. In all honesty, like I blocked all that, like her socials, just so like I can take my mind off it, even though it still runs through my mind that whole thing. But it's okay, you know. It's you just have to move on in cases like these. You just have to, take it as it goes, and then not just dwell on it because people are supposed to improve. They're supposed to get better. They're supposed to find what works for them, and I hope she did. I hope she's doing okay. Um, as you can tell, I'm okay with everything that happened. Obviously, I would have done something completely different. When you look back in hindsight, like you always want to improve on a lot of things, but yeah, I just brought that up because like it's been a year since all that stuff went down or started, and there's a lot of good times, a lot of bad times, a lot of sad times. So just acknowledging it and putting it out there is that yeah, I'm doing okay. Obviously, I wish I could do better, But yeah, I think I'm gonna close out the episode at an hour. Yeah, just tune in to this podcast, Gito Show. It's on Podbean.com. You can follow on all podcast platforms. You can follow me on Facebook at Cargento, Instagram Cargento, Twitter Cargento. My Snapchat is Karutrey, KARRUETREY. You can follow me on Twitch, Cargento. See my gaming. YouTube is, like I said, Cargento. Um, yeah, follow me on social media. I, I've been told like my quotes still really brighten people's days, which is cool because doing it has been it's been good. Just putting out that good energy out there every morning because I wake up before everybody apparently. Um, but yeah, that's been good. Everybody stay in good spirits. This thing may not end soon, but like I said, you can do things to improve and make things better for yourself, even though the world isn't getting better. But yeah, I think that's all right now. And yeah, that's the Ginto show. Peace, everybody. Hope you have a safe time out there and stay at home, plank the curve, social distancing. Um, yeah, if someone wants to hook up with you from a booty call, yeah, go do it. At least you're not with five or more people. Hopefully not. But yeah, peace, everybody.